One of the fundamental principles that you have to master in as much as rhetoric is concerned or public speaking is the golden triangle. The golden triangle is a concept that did not just start yesterday or today. Uh, it started way back in 384 to 322 BC, before Christ. Okay, so this concept was propounded by the father of public speaking, the father of rhetoric. I'm talking about not any other person, but Aristotle. Aristotle was, of course, was the teacher of Alexander the Great, and he was mentored by the great Socrates. And so he came up with the concept because he was really, really great in delivering presentations and teaching people how to do presentations and public speaking and like delivering talks everywhere around. By then, that was in great, and so he was like, who is saying what to whom, using what medium and effect, right? Who is saying what to whom, using what medium and effect? So it's a little bit like the messenger, the message, the audience, and the context. Now, let me take you a little bit down by 2,000 feet. In 1948, Harold Leswell further expanded this project or this theory that Aristotle started by coming about the golden triangle. So he came about the golden triangle, and after doing my notes and cranny, I came to realize that one of the best way to explain the golden triangle is to go back to 384 to 323 BC. What Aristotle started is actually what is known today as the golden triangle. Now, for you to best understand the golden triangle, we have to begin actually with the audience. And then, when we talk about the audience, we actually mean the people listening to your talk, the people there listening to you. You want to know what are their pain points. You want to know what are their expectations, what are their concerns listening to you. Remember, they paid to come and hear you talk. And so you cannot just come to talk anyhow. So you must ask yourself, who are my audience? What are their expectations? And most importantly, what are their pain points? Because you want to relate to the current challenges, the current happenings. You want to relate to the current things that are happening in their life, in their worldviews. You want to relate to that because your audience here are very important. Okay? Now, when you talk about your audience, it also has to do with, you have to check about their sex, their gender, their age groups. You want to know, are you talking to elderly people? You're talking to teenagers, you're talking to youth? Who are the people you're talking to? Why is it important? It helps to relate what you're going to be talking about, how you're going to talk about. Remember, we talk about what are you talking to whom, using what medium, and through what effect. That is important. And if you don't know the age group you're talking to, you can easily screw up or mess up. So it is important for you to know your audience. All right, your audience is good to know, because if you don't know your audience, the people you're talking to them, it will affect your message thoroughly. Now, you don't want to limit yourself to sex segregation or to gender, all of that. You also want to ask yourself, what are their educational background? People that are highly educated might have a different expectation to people that are averagely educated. Okay, so you want to factor out all of these elements of your audience before you come in. That's the first item in the golden triangle. So the second item in the golden triangle is something that is very, very, very important. The message. The message. How do you want to structure your message? How do you want to present the message? As I train my students in our different public speaking platforms and schools, one of the things that I emphasize so much is that the quality of your message, the impact of your message, how well your message will last in the minds of your audience is not determined by how lengthy or how long the message was. It's actually determined by the quality of the content. And this has so much to do with the kind of props you use, the kind of stories you tell, the kind of entry you're coming in with, the exit you're going out with. That is so important. For instance, there are messages where I watch, sermons I listen to, where the person that was doing the presentation literally used props like this, right? You props like this. So what's a prop? A prop is simply an item, an element, a tool, an instrument that you use to illustrate a point in your presentation. That's a prop. And science has proven that what you see, what you hear, what you feel, you have high probability of retaining it than what you just hear and see. That's so powerful. This is a pointer to help you as a speaker to understand that anywhere you are speaking and anytime you're speaking, if there is something that you can use to illustrate what you are talking about, to illustrate your message, to be able to portray your message or your message, across to the people that are expected to hear, then definitely go with that, because people can easily remember the picture they saw rather than the stories they heard and the statistics that you told them. So it is important for you to tell stories, but remember that people will remember more stories that are told with an item or an element or a tool, which we call props in public speaking, that you use than just maybe empty stories. Okay, so anytime you're doing a talk, think about a prop, a tool they can use to demonstrate what you're talking about. People can easily remember that above any other ways you can deliver, except that science and technology and AI will advance so much that will bring up different aspects of prop that we have not yet discovered today. And so that is it for your message. And then let's go to the context. The context here is very important. I used to say there are presentations that you can do in Africa, and you might not do the same presentation, using the same format or the same narratives or rhetoric in America, same like in Europe, same like in Asia, same like in any other part of the world. The presentation you can do in Scandinavian countries, you cannot use the same format to do them in the nomadic countries. You cannot use them to do in the American country, in North America or South America. Okay, that's so important. That's so important. So you need to know your context. The context is very important. There are things you don't say in a particular culture, right? There are elements you don't actually bring in a particular culture. There are stories you don't tell. For instance, I was doing a presentation. I did a presentation some years ago in Africa, and I used to share a story of how when my mom got pregnant on me, she was expecting a baby girl, and I became a baby boy, blah blah blah. And so when I say this in Africa, people really just laugh. It was so fun. That was a wonderful anecdote that I use at times as an entry point for my talks. But guess what? In America, I can't do that. Because if I say that, people will misinterpret my intentions, and they will not take it as a joke. They won't take it as a joke, friend. And so there are stories that I told in Africa, I cannot share them in America, and the stories I share in America, I can't share them in Africa, right? When I'm speaking. And so that's the context. So you have to understand your context. What's your context? And when I talk of the context here, I mean like cross-cultural values, right? Cross-cultural expectations. What are the cultures? What are the cultural beliefs? What are the belief system of the people? And then you have to tweak your presentation to be able to fit the belief system, because if you fail to do that, they will not accept or receive your message. All right. I'm not saying that you should be able to just tell them what they have to hear. I mean, in the context of a minister, a preacher, an evangelist, you don't have to do that. You have to tell the message as it is. Preach the message as it is. Don't blend it, don't tweak it, just give it as it is. If that is what you are led to do, just do it that way. Okay, but in most cases you have to tweak it, especially as professional speakers, presenters and people who deliver speeches here and now and then. You gotta do it, because if you don't do it, you can deliver a presentation, by the time you're finishing they will stone you. Okay, they will stone you. Okay, so that is it for the golden triangle I've talked about. Number 1, your audience. I've talked about number 2, your message, and most importantly, number 3, your context. The context here is very important. And guess what? I want to give you a bonus. And what's the bonus? The bonus is the messenger. The bonus here is the container of all the messages. Okay, so I'm talking about you as a speaker. You have to know yourself. And most of the time, I will tell my students that as a speaker, you need to be an authority in what you talk about. There is a way that when you talk about something you believe, There's a passion that comes out. There is a kind of passion that comes out effortlessly when you talk about things you truly believe in. All right, the people see the energy, people see the enthusiasm, they see that. So talk about things you have innovated, you have invented. Talk about things you believe in, because as a messenger, as a speaker, if you don't believe in your message, the people will feel it. Know what I mean? Like, if you don't believe in it, the people feel it. So talk about things you believe in. And how do you talk about things you believe in? You need to experience those things. Don't talk about other people's experiences. Talk about your personal experiences. Talk about things you've innovated, projects you've undertaken. Those are the kind of things that you can truly be passionate about. And when you bring all of these elements together on the table, there is no way you will not deliver impeccable presentation. So my name is Oliver Shaw. If this video makes sense to you, I have a link to my one-on-one coaching session under this thumbnail, under this particular video here on YouTube. If you're watching from YouTube, if you want to have a free one-on-one session with me, coaching session with me, feel free, go to the description of this message and then click on the link and then schedule a one-on-one coaching session with me, and I'll be able to walk you through. I'll help you. If you're a pastor, you're a minister, you're a speaker, you're a CEO, you're in the corporate world, I want to improve upon your communication skills. I'll be so glad to help you achieve that goal. Okay, so above all, please don't forget to subscribe to this channel. If you're watching from YouTube, like it and subscribe to it. Make sure, let me know what stood out for you in this particular short video. All right, my name is Oliver Shom, and I'm looking forward to see you in the next video. Have a great day. Cheers.